morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Today Explained, a podcast series where we interview industry experts and leaders to find out the different types of challenges that each industry faces and their very own unique and different solutions on how they actually overcame these things. We are Outright BPO, also known as OBS, and we are a specialist in business process outsourcing. And we're here to find how we can help improve your business. Our guest today has more than 30 years work experience in digital transformation and has played a pivotal role in the aspects of many businesses, bringing them into the modern age. Over the years, he has been a business leader, a team player, and a digital transformation guru, which has built several successful businesses in even the most remote parts of our economy. He is also the co-founder of Anadoc and the COO of Tech One Global Limited. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Wasantha. Hi, Mr. Wasantha. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
It's my pleasure. Now, I've read so much about you, and I'm so impressed to see that you've actually stayed in this one field for so many years. So I'm really curious. Could you just share a little bit about yourself? What brought you into this field and what got you hooked and made you want to stay so long here?
So obviously, thank you very much for inviting me. And maybe I'll start with a joke. I say, probably I don't know anything else how to do. That's why I'm stuck in this field. Probably that may be true as well. But honestly, I really love the industry that I have been fallen into. I started with being an engineer. So electronics engineer. So I moved to computing at a bit of latter part of my career. I started with actually the computing, but that's not what I studied in the beginning. Then I had to restudy in that line of business. But I like that opportunity that was lying ahead with me to address and change things using technology. So that's why I stayed in this field for so long, because every day is a new challenge to overcome and new way to find solutions. That's why I'm here.
That's honestly really inspirational to hear. And I'm so impressed to see that even after so many years, you still say that you can actually got so much to learn that you can go through and all that. Now, as in my introduction, I mentioned earlier that you were the co-founder of Anadoc and also of Tech One Global. Could you share with us a little bit what exactly are those two companies, and are they correlated, or what's the link between them?
All right. So Tech One Global is actually the first company that we have started around 20 odd years back. And to be very honest, I come from a background of content management. So previously I have been working on content management and document management industry. And also my partner, the other co-founder, Mr. Lars Jefferson, two of us are coming from almost the same industry 35 years back.
Wow.
So we know each other also for quite a long time. So we started this business with the phase of trying to get digital transformation accessible to everyone. That was our first obvious thinking many years back though, right? And we thought it is very relevant that day, but I think it is becoming more relevant today. So there was always a saying, around 35 years back when we joined the industry, we were talking about paperless office.
Okay, 35 years ago.
Yes, but
wow.
But still we could not see that paperless office, right? So that means there's still an opportunity. We thought people will go away from paper and move to completely digital, but actually, we as humans we are a bit reluctant to move away from those things that we can touch and feel, right? So that's one of the things that that made us to specially design solutions, vertical solutions around digitization. So the Anadoc was born after a while, after we started the Tech One, which is the digital transformation company, ended up become specialized content services company eventually to provide solutions which are very, very specific to content services. So Tech One Global is a much broader. We provide turnkey solutions as well as infrastructure and licensing, and we have partners like Microsoft and other major partners who are working with us on that company. But whereas Enedoc is a company which develops and deploy intellectual, our own IP to solve problems of in the industry in terms of content services.
Wow. That honestly sounds like you're like the revolutionary, you're like the start of a great thing happening over there. 35 years ago, you all envisioned this and started. And Tech One started around that point of time as well? Or was that a much slightly younger?
Tech One is around 22 years old.
Wow. Yeah. That is honestly a really impressive thing. And I'm also really cool to hear like you really stretched it out and like diversified it out so much. But like way back when, 22 years ago, what was actually the main thing that brought you and your partner together to actually want to start this company in what I would imagine was already like a really competitive industry or a really competitive world back then also?
To be very honest, at that point, the business was very competitive. Honestly, to be in Asia, because the technologies that we have been using on digitization and content services thinking was a bit remote, because people always thought, why can't we employ someone to carry the file from A to B, and why can't we use some warm body to do that action? But eventually we started realizing I think every market gets matures. People start realizing that you need to, just like in your business, similar to outsourcing, right? And if you find some specialist organization who can do, come and improve your efficiencies, that is the point of time that your organizational efficiency and competitiveness can be kept, right? So slowly people start adapting, and initially there was not huge competition. Of course, the Asia, there's an interesting fact that if you open a coffee shop, you will find many people also start opening coffee shops next to you. That's if you're successful, right? And but that gives you kind of the vibrance, plus also the opportunity for you to be better and grow in a direction where you can show your value addition. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're like the trend starter back in that, and you actually show them the way that, hey, this is actually a really powerful thing in a really big industry to actually get into. Wow.
Kind of.
I think you did, honestly. I think so. But okay, well, talking about Tech One and how you were saying that it's a very diverse aspect. You can cover a lot of things from infrastructure and handling a lot of different things as well. Do you guys like serve or specialize in any specific industry or sectors, or do you like tap all markets?
Technically speaking, we have certain sectors we have done better. But practically speaking, we also have done business with most of the industry, because based on the type of business that what we are in, especially with the Microsoft licensing optimization and infrastructure management, we have served large corporates to large governments to even smaller and medium-sized companies. So and then of course the different business verticals as well, right? But in some industries like especially financial industry and also the government, we have done much better digital transformation initiatives. So they have gone for much more broader set of solutions than only just one set of solutions that what we had.
I see. Wow, all the way up to the government as well. That is actually really impressive, I have to say. What type of work, if I can ask, with like the government thing, is that like one or two parts, or like you actually like help them handle a lot of different things as well?
What works is government is how hard you work, right? And there's no free lunch. If you want to if you wanted to do something with government and make it really work, most probably first few years you have to work. You have to work with them, handhold them, and do that transformation. Obviously, but those are big and those are very transformational. Especially the services that you will be offering may be serving the edge of the social fabric. Like for an example, if you are issuing a certificate for the birth, or if you are issuing a certificate for the marriage or death or something like that, that is obviously counts to everybody in the country, right? So if you're successful on delivering a solution like that, then you touch every human being that that is on in your region or who's following that.
That's true.
Whereas some other solutions may only service for a specific vertical. So one is obviously more satisfying than the other, and maybe less profitable as well, because of the amount of energy that you need to put it in.
I never looked at it that way. Wow. Yeah. Actually, just like what you said earlier, something as simple as just handling the digitalization for like births and that, you literally touch every single person in that country in there.
Absolutely.
Wow. And all right, so like talking about different industries, and you mentioned you work in a lot of different companies and all that as well. Ourselves, OBS, we handle a lot of different companies as well. And I also like to say, we'd like to think we are a specialist in providing services to freight forwarding and logistic types of companies as well. So I'm actually quite curious, have you had a dip in that sector? Have you had a chance to work with them or like provide any solutions in digitization or even automation?
So we are like dust mites, wherever there's dust, we like to eat that, right? So obviously we have been in that industry. So, if there's there. And one of our largest actually customers even today, is a very active customer is from freight forwarding, and there are multiple customers we have, who have been using some of our services, digitization services.
Nice.
So the interesting thing is when you deal with paper, especially you're dealing with a lot of paper, any digitization process and content services can help you to improve your business. So obviously it is a very lucrative part of business if somebody think by automating some of the difficult paper-based stuff. So because that will give you more profitability, right? So
Definitely.
I think yes, this is an area we have helped some organizations to actually save money.
Wow. Nice. I'm honestly really glad to hear that. It's like maybe we can share some points later on after this or something. So seeing that you've based and you started up and you ran so much in Sri Lanka running in all this, how do you feel about the talent and the type of available talents that you can actually get to actually compete with some of the more major players in this region?
I think world is a small place.
True.
There is no, like when we started around 20 odd years back, obviously some of the things what you mentioned did exist, those barriers. But I think the barrier of entry for someone to work in a vertical or an industry, or to work on any subject, or becoming a subject matter expert in any one of the areas, is becoming less and less. We can say less and less a barrier for somebody to achieve that. So with that, I guess organizations are also becoming more and more you can say flexible in terms of how they hire talent. And in fact this the reality of digital transformation came because of the pandemic for us. I would say that even though we were preaching about digital transformation to everybody, the reality was that we were not being able to open more than one branch in each country where we are. But in Sri Lanka itself, we had only one branch for so long. But with the pandemic, we have people from every major city who is working for us today. There were around 20 different major cities people who are working remotely. Wow. So that means it is we as an organization have gone really goes to the grassroots of the country, and we have been able to expand ourselves. and so which gives us a edge of being able to hire the right talent, and then also it gives us an opportunity. Now, if you can hire someone who's 50 kilometers away, why can't we hire someone 1,500 kilometers away or 5,000 kilometers away? So it gives you kind of the opportunity to obviously grow beyond the original thinking of how to have your workforce. Where is your workforce? Hearing 20,000-30,000 people have been laid off recently from these large big companies, we are very eager to talk to them. Work for us, because we don't do that. We grow slowly, right? I'm sure that you also might be, and having the same issue of brain drain, right?
Yeah.
Now we can call them back. Please come back, because we have enough work. We are growing. That's it.
I love that mindset so much. That's honestly, I have to say that it's like one of the most beautiful mindsets to see, and especially really nice to see for someone that is leading a company. That is a really powerful thing to see. I love it so much. Now, talking about the pandemic, I'm sure it wasn't, all roses and fun times when the pandemic started, 1-2 years ago. So what were some of the major challenges that came and attacked you guys, or you guys had to face with as a company?
True. Okay. I'm sorry, Joel, I don't know whether I answered your previous question right. You asked whether Sri Lanka has the talent, right? But I gave you a much more broad answer. But
no. Yeah. That was in there.
Probably I should answer that as well. So obviously we had quite good talent, and so that is also a kind of a problem, because there's a lot of brain drain because of that, and we have quite a good talent that is being produced, but that is, of course, access to that one is difficult, because they have a lot of demand. So probably to answer the previous one, then to answer the last one, what was the biggest challenge in the pandemic? I would say some good things first before I say the bad things.
Of course.
So rather than the challenges, I would say that how easy it was for us to see, to face it, because we have been working on a remote working culture for a few years, just before even pandemic. When the pandemic happened, it took around 12 days for us to completely reorganize the business to go work remote. And we came up with all the policies, working from home policies, to allowances, to various different things that is required for people to work from home. Of course, our business is also around 20% of people, our business needs to be in the office. There's no way that they can perform their job from home itself, right? This is after converting another 20 to 30% of people working from office. We came up with solutions for them to work from home. Okay, so but still 20% of the people had to be in the office, like especially if you are digitizing and transforming physical artifacts into digital. You can't do it from home, because obviously there are security reasons, there are other requirements, or set of people. Of course, our developers working from home. Of course, our system engineers and back-end people, they were working from home. Obviously, our finance and peoples and culture teams are working from home, right? So, but there's a set of people who could not come to office, so that people bringing to office or getting special permissions across the different countries where we were operating to get special permission to get them to come to work. Because we had to obviously keep their jobs, so we had to keep it running. So we had to do something. So that was the most, I think, challenging start. Then obviously that came when our clients are in difficult situation, when their cash flow being affected, how to collect money, especially, So I think these are the kind of challenges we saw, but we have obviously had a much better start compared to many other companies, because we already had that the foundation to face a kind of situation like this.
Nice. honestly was so impressed to hear that you had it all done in just 12 days. You were able to get it all up and ready to go. I've interviewed and talked to so many people, and they were talking in periods of months before they were even able to get themselves on the road and actually, efficiently moving forward with the whole transformation thing.
To be fair, actually, it was our people and culture team.
Okay.
Those decisions very, very quickly, and they are foreseen, and they were really pressing on us. We need to do this, so we had to keep, I had to support the process, and obviously within few days we've been able to realize and those goals.
Nice. All right. So, like you were saying earlier, with how you had to cater from working from home and monitoring the productivity, and also being able to get in the access with the people from the back end, and also some people that just really had to be in the office as well.
Absolutely.
Now, for many companies, the pandemic was really quite a game changer in almost every industry, I would have to say. And finding the right type of digital infrastructure to put in place is really crucial. And seeing that you already sounds like, at least, you had so much good foundations and a lot of wonderful ideas in place already. So, in your opinion, what are some of the solutions that you have developed during this time for such needs, or what you already had in play that actually proved to be the most powerful or effective thing for you to use?
So if I tell you we had everything, I also lie. I think that's not the truth. The truth was we also lacked something, but we didn't realize that we lacked that until such time.
Right.
But obviously we had few things done right. We have digitized all our paper documents. Okay? And we had a email and other the workplace sharing solutions like Microsoft Teams and email and other things, and our ERP solutions in place, and our human resource management or HCM solution in place. So we had a lot of pieces of tools, which are digital, so which we could go and work from anywhere. But obviously we had challenges all our senior team sits in different countries, so we had to sign documents. Previously what we used to do is, you would just email, take and send it in courier and, get it signed, or if it is in the same country, we send someone, goes and get the signatures. Even though we work remotely, signing was still physical, and we were doing it. But of course, the pandemic, suddenly, there's no one can travel, and you have to still sign, and you have to still approve things. We had to do something, so we realized that our content services solution was not complete without a signing capability. So what we did a rapid deployment, for a digital signing solution internally, which actually within 90 days we managed to deploy. And because we had all the framework in place, it was only a matter of embedding the digital signing and approval process. And with that, it gives us a significant amount of leverage in terms of how we are operating, right? How we are approving things, and from where are you doing it. So obviously that led us to also to develop get a new idea of developing a separate product, helping organizations. So we are actually we are just 3-4 days away from releasing that product in the market. So you're asking the right time,
Hey.
Yeah. So,
really cool. Could you share a little bit more? What is this new thing you're launching, or is it classified?
So it's no, it's not. It's not. I mean, by next week we are counting. Well, the countdown has started.
Okay.
This week we are launching our new digital electronic signing product called EVR Sign.
EVR Sign.
EVR Sign, which allows people to digitally seal and sign documents and approve. So.
Wow.
Obviously, these documents which are signed can be verified by anybody anywhere in the world, whether the signatures have been tampered or not, using the standard technologies available. So which helps organizations to securely, be confident that it was signed by my accountant. Not by somebody in between, so I can, when I open the document, things like that, can be
right.
Be confident in that. So we think that's going to be a great product.
Wow. Hey, and congratulations on that. And the signing part is you can have all the documents in the world, but if you can't put a signature on it, what's the point of having it, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Very nice. I really like that. Now, just talking back a little bit on your company and like in Sri Lanka and all that, there is a growing concern, for the economic crisis happening there, a little bit of bad things happening here and there. As a CEO and a co-founder of these two companies and having it based in Sri Lanka, and not to mention also it currently being a very competitive industry, how have you been, or how do you plan to face like the challenges and still maintain your company in a position where you are actually quite prominent in the industry?
There's a long answer for this question. Because obviously, there are a few things you mixed up. You're talking about economic crisis and you're saying about how we survive and other stuff. So let me just talk about a minute about economic crisis. So the economic crisis, yes, I would not say that there's an economic crisis. It is there, it's obvious. But it is not much worse than, many other places in terms of what it is, like media shows. Okay? But having said that, there's a segment of people who got affected severely in this crisis. So those are the people who actually been battered by the COVID and also countered, with this current situation. Obviously, a lot of Sri Lankans are helpful with each other. So I think they do quite a bit of help, the other people who are in trouble on this situation. But there are some obvious that you cannot deal with, there's no fuel, there's no power generation, then there are electricity, cuts. Then obviously your production, get affected. Your international customers may start thinking what is going on. At the current moment, of course, we are far better. We are not facing any big challenges in terms of power cuts today and fuel queues. The economic situation, I think, is common around the world. I'm hearing from every country, raising concerns and asking people to, start prepare for recession. I think this is, but of course, one way we are lucky because we hit this situation early. Then obviously they have other people to help. But I think some other countries are now already been they have lost the capacity of even helping others, right? Right. So then one way I think Sri Lanka would be lucky. Then to answer the how are we competitive? Actually, the situation has given a lot of local ICT companies to be more competitive because of the currency devaluation. Right now, it is your services are being valued better if you are exporting, right? But at the same time, there's a bigger challenge. The people who are working for you, it's talent, right? Our companies are made of people, not made of laptops and tables, right? They're made of people. So those people are also being offered now much higher salaries, because of the comparatively, because of the fluctuation of the dollar, they can be paid by some companies who are remote, right? So the same concept that I talked to you before. So anybody can work from anywhere, so that's why not they work from here and also earn better money. Now that obviously creates a kind of a vacuum or brain drain. Even they don't leave the country, there's obviously some local companies are having difficulties in hiring them and paying the same amount of money. So that's a challenge. But having said that, this is a good challenge to have, I guess, because if you have people being paid higher salary, there will be more people interested in learning and studying in that, right? So I'm also very positive on this kind of stuff. So let's see, how it should turn out to be better, I'm sure.
I'm 100% on your train for that one. I always believe that a little bit of healthy competition is always a good thing, and it brings out the best in more people to want them to try and actually push and, go for it and try for it, I really like that. Now, talking back on how you were saying with the Great Recession and how, people are getting a brain drain and other people cannot handle these kind of things. Many different companies and industries, whether they're, SMEs or MNCs, they're getting really heavily affected by this. So in your opinion, well, seeing that you run an outsourcing company as well, do you think that this is a viable or powerful solution that we can actually offer to others, especially smaller, more MNC types of companies?
Right. Especially, you want me to talk about outsourcing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, why do people outsource in the first place? Is being able to get something more efficient, in a more efficient way at a maybe more competitive cost, right? So
right.
The competitiveness and the experience can only be achieved by being able to develop some technologies behind that, and also to collect some tacit knowledge, or basically a knowledge about that subject, creating some specialists. So many organizations are not being able to create that specialist knowledge because they don't have the volumes what is required for you to build it, and also they are not going to invest onto the specialist tools what is required. So obviously organizations like yours are investing onto that. Definitely outsourcing should help every organization whom you're on your vertical what you're working on, because you have better talent and better tools. Of course, maybe also you are negotiating better rates with people, because you might be able to get continuous or better outputs compared to the others. So definitely the outsourcing helps. Okay, but outsourcing has its own problems.
Definitely.
Yeah, when a smaller organization, especially MNCs, SMEs, not MNCs, when they wanted to outsource, they have no idea how to outsource and what to outsource. And their expectations are much bigger. It's just like if you walk into a small restaurant and give me a packet of rice. I mean, probably you're from Asia. So in Asia, a lot of people eat rice, right? So, but we don't know, if you have not specified what is inside the package, if you don't know what to demand for your meal, whether you are vegetarian, whether you are vegetarian or whatever, right?
Yeah,
probably you will get something that you are not asked for.
Very true. Very true.
So many times people think the price is what matters, but it is not true. I think you need to know what you want to have and what you can outsource, and then then the right pricing has to come, and then obviously you can also make more save and make more profits for each organization. So I think MNCs are more successful on doing this compared to SMEs. SMEs think that they can do everything themselves, which is obvious, of course, based on their size and their buying power as well as their thinking, right? The transformation has to happen, over a period of time. Okay.
True. Yeah, and you touched on a really good point that I really like. It is where we just say we want it, but we don't actually even know what it actually is. What do we actually want? We just think we want, I'm going to call this company and they're going to solve all my problems for me, and that's going to be the end of it, okay, but on that note, in your time, have you, prior to actually starting up your own content service company, have you worked with any outsourcing or BPO companies? And if you have, did you come across anyone that actually had really good tools that you or even your company would like to recommend?
Okay, I had actually, before starting this organization, I worked with Kodak and Lucent Technologies, and I think all the companies that I work are more MNCs, or they are part or distributors or partners. So I have learned a lot from the tools what they use for the line of business that they have been vertically applying for.
Right.
But I think we learn a lot by about these services. We learn a lot of the tools. We learn by jumping into the water and swimming. For last 20 years we have been learning. I think still we are learning, and it never ends, because it's always questions about, okay, how can we trust you with our information, and how are you going to deal with what is the level of security that you can offer. So it's just not purely the tools, right? It is also the processes, whether you have ISO 27000, ISO 19000, whatever, whatever your 9001 or whatever the processes, where you wanted to bringing in to make sure that your customers are comfortable with you to outsource, right? So it is changing. The whole playground is changing, along with the rest of the. I think that it's a moving, target for any BPO company or any company who's in this industry to service others. We need to keep this.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well. And just touching back on the previous point you made earlier and how SMEs, they try to do everything themselves because they are smaller scale, but it's also partially because they not really have the capacity to outsource and pay for such some higher pricing, because in the marketplace there are a few digitalization solutions that are offered, but they are a bit expensive, a bit costly. So from your point of view, or as a recommendation to SMEs, what are some of the recommendations you could offer them? Perhaps maybe something to look into, or maybe even where they want to target what they want to outsource.
So I would answer this one in a completely different way, because I actually participated in a TV interview maybe a month back. This lady was asking me the question, why are we not adapting as SMEs, and why are we not adapting? Why are we not doing it? I said, who said we are not adapting? We do adapt. At the onset of pandemic, vegetable dealers were delivering vegetable using WhatsApp groups. Bad on sustaining. I think sustainability is one of the factors that SMEs are not very good on pushing. Right? The sustainability is not part of their agenda because they don't absolutely actually see that. So whenever there is sudden demand, they adapt something, and then obviously when things become normal, they will go back to the original way of their operation. So I suggest and I ask them, please adapt technologies and please sustain the adaptation, and then the next step is for you to grow.
That's some honestly really, really good advice, I have to say. And I like the first opening statement. Just jump in. Don't be scared. You won't know until you go and try it in, Yeah. So just to wrap up our whole conversation here, coming into our last question just for today. Looking forward, going into 2023, it's coming seeing that the year is going to end, and there are many big concerns coming up, in every sector. What are some of the foreseeable challenges that you might be facing in your sector, your industry, and what's your plans to tackle or handle them?
Well, the coming year is obviously is going to be very interesting. I don't know, is it going to change the level of challenge? Because I think we have already reached a level of challenge that it is almost unsustainable for every country and every person. We are just obviously under a lot of stress. There's a war going on, some in between, and that's affecting the food, and then affecting now we are coming into the winter, and then the energy issues and rest of the world. So we are all obviously there are some set of people who are making money and doing well out of the situation, but it's globally not everyone else. And the expectation with things that I'm reading, I'm not quite sure. I'm not an economist, or I'm not I like to face what it comes and take some decisions rather than trying to be a very visionary in terms of telling what's going to happen for the next whole year. But I could see the currencies will fluctuate and fail.
Yeah.
In a way that we cannot predict. So this is going to give us a kind of another wave of issues that we have not understood. But in Asia especially, people have already started growing their own food and vegetables and other things, and everybody for this, I think it become a less problem in Asia for people to eat, in my personal opinion. But that may not be true for the rest of the world, because if they're having seasons and if they're not being able to do it right and hold on to stuff. So the bigger challenges would be based on the other things, the energy crisis and other stuff. So in our industry, we can help organizations to sustain as long as there's electricity and internet connections, we can help organizations to do things what they've been doing and sustaining that, or producing or doing, go with the, go face the world. But if one of these issues affects the other, could obviously be a big challenge for us also to deal with. But I, honestly speaking, I can't predict that. I don't know whether Elon Musk, all these satellites, millions of satellites will get, bombed by one of those Chinese guys. Oh, there are millions of things that people are predicting and forecasting. But come on, this is not how it is. We never knew the tsunami came in. We never knew the pandemic is coming in. This is also not the first and the last. But I guess we all need to have a kind of a strong belief that we can deal with it. And we need to take actions, quick actions, for whatever you see onset, what is coming in. We need to take some actions and we need to survive. But I may be quite bad in terms of predicting a year. I would say 3 months. I would say that okay, we can foresee, and this is what I see.
Well, I totally agree with you. Trying to predict next year it's going to be a miracle at best, because seeing how this 2022 alone has been with there's hundreds of different chaos that popped up in here. No one really knows what's going to happen. But I really, really love that one statement.
Everybody said that pandemic is over. Now everything should go on normal, right?
Yeah, well, then the war happened and all that, And who knows how with the fluctuation of all the currencies and all that's going to happen. But I want to touch on that one statement you say. It's like, no matter what happens, just give me electricity and internet and I can handle any problem and I can tackle it forward. That is such a powerful way of doing it, and I really, really do like that. Thank you so much, Mr. Wasantha, for taking the time to being here with us today and to help us discover the benefits to embracing change and also to modernization, how we can tackle all these different problems by just believing in a simple solution and a simple mindset. And to all our listeners, if you think that your business might improve with the aid of outsourcing, then please do contact Outright BPO Services by calling the number over here, or you can even visit our website. And if you would like to use and you would like to think that your company would benefit from having smart technologies and having a more effective, efficient, and quality service given to you, then you would definitely want to check out Outright BPO Services, because we use the right technology with the industry experts and with the best industry practices to serve our clients best. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Wasantha, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting, and good luck.
Thank you.